So thinking about jumping into the world of mobile notary work.
Or maybe you're already doing it, right, out there on the road.
Exactly. Or, maybe you're looking to really level up your existing business.
It's definitely a field with a lot of potential, lots of opportunity.
But let's be real, sometimes it feels like you're just figuring it all out as you go along.
Yeah, which is exactly why we wanted to do this deep dive. We've basically pulled out the best bits, the most insightful stuff from a recent live stream.
Right, the one in the Safe Space for Notaries, that online group.
That's the one. Ladero hosts it, and he's really focused on creating this, judgment-free zone for notaries.
Which is so needed. A place to learn, grow, ask questions. And he knows his stuff. Brings that real-world angle.
Totally. So what we've done is we've distilled all that great chat down, got the essential info you really need.
Yeah, our mission here is pretty simple, really. We want to give you actionable stuff, practical knowledge.
And hopefully boost your confidence, right? So you feel better navigating the whole mobile notary scene.
It kind of starts there, doesn't it?
Mm.
Ladero really hit on that early, building up that self-belief.
And knowing your options, understanding the full scope of what you can actually do as a notary.
He even shared a pretty cool example, didn't he? About a client needing apostilles.
Oh, yeah, the recurring one, where the need just kept growing month after month. International documents.
It's such a great, real-world example of the potential that's out there.
Definitely.
And it makes you think, how often do we actually stop and, acknowledge our own progress? Those little wins.
That build momentum. Good point.
Yeah, those things that keep you going.
Well, and speaking of being out there, that leads right into something super practical. Safety.
Oh, absolutely. Huge topic.
Yeah.
Came up quite a bit in the discussion.
Understandably. I mean, especially for women in the field, it's a major consideration.
Yeah, you really can't afford to ignore it. Ladero acknowledged that, a lot of notaries are thinking proactively about personal safety.
Right. Things like carrying self-protection tools. Tasers were mentioned, I think.
They were. But beyond that, a big part of the conversation was about something every notary has control over.
Where you meet the clients.
Exactly. Choosing those meeting spots.
And the emphasis was really on safe, neutral, public places, coffee shops.
Panera even got a mention, right?
Yeah, Panera, places like that. With the little side note of, maybe buy a coffee, support the business that's kind of letting you use their space.
Good point. And it brought up that question, the one I know so many notaries grapple with.
Do I have to go to their house?
Yes, that one. And the answer that came through loud and clear
Was a definite no, absolutely not.
right. You, as the notary, have the right to choose a place where you feel comfortable, where you feel safe.
Your safety has to come first, period.
Yeah.
Even if it's, slightly less convenient for the client sometimes, you set the terms.
Such a critical point. Being mobile means you travel to people, but not necessarily into their private spaces if you're not comfortable.
It doesn't mean giving up control over the environment. Setting boundaries is key. For peace of mind, for safety.
Okay, so moving on from safety, though it's always relevant, the chat also got into some specifics of the work itself.
Like remote online notarization? RON?
Yeah, that often causes a bit of confusion, doesn't it?
It can. I mean, the key thing to grasp is that traditional mobile notarization and R, they're different beasts.
Different rules, different procedures, different technology involved.
Exactly. So you've got to be really clear on what services you're actually authorized to do and, what you're equipped for.
And then there's state-specific things.
Yeah.
Like Georgia came up. Attorney states.
Right. In places like Georgia, if you're dealing with real estate documents, the rules around notary involvement are, stricter, more caution needed.
It really hammers home that need to know your state's specific laws, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Because as Ladero pointed out, ignorance isn't bliss here. Not knowing the rules.
Would have serious consequences. Losing your commission, even.
Yeah, decommissioned. It's serious stuff.
It really is.
Yeah.
That ongoing education, it's not just about skill building. It's about protecting your actual ability to work.
Well said.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Something that can really give your business a boost. Reviews. Online reviews.
Ah, yes. The power of the 5-star review. Ladero was big on this.
Especially the detailed ones, right?
Yeah.
Where people don't just click 5 stars, but actually write about their positive experience.
Exactly. He called it powerful social proof. And it really is.
Think about it. If someone's checking you out online, they see those glowing comments.
It's like having people vouch for you before you even talk to the potential client. Builds instant trust.
Yeah, it does the selling for you, in a way.
And the advice was simple, really. Aim for that. What did he call it? A white glove experience.
Yeah, white glove service. For everyone.
Doesn't matter if it's a small fee or a big signing. Treat every client incredibly well.
Because that's what often leads to those fantastic reviews, that feeling of being well taken care of.
Precisely.
Now, speaking of different services, apostilles came up again.
Right. And if you're listening and maybe haven't dealt with those much, the term itself can sound a little intimidating.
It can,
Yeah.
but it's actually pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, basically, an apostille is just a type of certification. It makes a document legit for use in another country.
As long as that country is part of the Hague Convention.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
this big international agreement that simplifies authenticating documents between member countries. So the apostille confirms your notarization is valid internationally.
Gotcha. And this seems to be a natural fit for mobile notaries.
It really is. Laderl talked about how notaries often end up being like apostille facilitators.
Because the documents usually need notarizing first.
That's the key connection. Yeah, a lot of documents heading overseas need that notary stamp before they can get the apostille,
So as the mobile notary, you're often the first step in that chain.
making you a really valuable resource for clients navigating that whole international document maze. It's a good niche.
Which kind of leads us nicely into the whole topic of learning and community education.
Yeah, how do you learn all this stuff? Right. Ladero had some interesting takes on that.
He did. He talked about the different paths, teaching yourself.
Using free resources online, which there are plenty of.
Or investing in paid courses and training programs.
And he was pretty candid, wasn't he, about how the value you get from those paid things can really vary.
Yeah, not all training is created equal, basically.
Yeah.
His own experience reflected that.
So his advice was kind of start with self-education. Build that foundation yourself.
Right. Use the free stuff, figure out the basics, and then, if you're looking at paid programs.
Look for ones that offer more than just the lessons. Look for community, mentorship opportunities.
That was the big takeaway for me, the network.
Exactly. He really emphasized that the connections you make, that peer group you become part of, that can be just as valuable, maybe even more valuable than the course material itself.
Having people to bounce ideas off, ask questions, get support.
Totally. And he shared examples from like online forums, right? Notaries helping each other out.
Yeah. Recommending signing platforms, talking about tools they use.
Even connecting across state lines to help with the signing they couldn't do. It shows that supportive side of the community.
Which is really encouraging to hear. It's not always cutthroat competition.
Not at all. There's a lot of collaboration.
And for folks wanting that in-person connection, there was mention of an event coming up.
Oh, yeah. The Spring Notary Social in Gwinnett County.
He described it as pretty laid back, right? Casual.
Yeah, focused on just real talk, practical stuff.
Yeah.
And giving people resources they can actually use, like takeaway materials.
Sounds like a great opportunity to connect.
Definitely. And for anyone interested, he said to join the free Notary Buddy community online for updates and more info.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly hit the main takeaways again from that safe space chat.
Right. Number one, definitely. Prioritize your safety, always.
Know your services. Understand what you can offer RN, apostilles, general work. Know your scope.
And leverage those positive reviews. Go for that white glove service to earn them. They're gold.
Recognize where you fit into that apostille process. It's a great service add-on.
And finally, never stop learning. Keep educating yourself and lean into that community. It's there to help.
Yeah, the overall message, the vibe from Laderl was really about empowerment, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Like he said at the end, be safe, be kind.
And remember, you got this.
You totally got this.
So for you listening right now, maybe think about one thing, one specific action you could take, maybe even today.
Could be small, like reviewing your safety procedures.
Yeah.
Do you have a solid plan for meeting clients?
Or maybe reaching out to that client from last week who seemed really happy, ask for that review.
And perhaps just spending like 15 minutes Googling apostille services in my state. Just start exploring.
Yeah, and just mull this over. How could making learning and connecting with other notaries a regular thing? How could that really elevate your business?
Build your skills, build your network. It all adds up in the long run. Food for thought.